Hello, it's Tuesday. Welcome to live Q&A. We're going to be hanging out for the next, couple hours or so. Hope you guys are doing okay. Got super chats turned on. If you guys would like to ask any questions, that's a good way to get my attention. If there's no super chats, of course, I'll look for the good freebies. We're going to talk twin flames, law of attraction, general spirituality. I've got a lot of knowledge, and I'm happy to share all of this wonderful knowledge with you guys. Hope you're having a great week out there. Hello, we got somebody from Spain in the chat. Welcome. Didn't know if you were aware or not, but I got a Spanish YouTube channel. How about that? Let's see if I can pull it up here for you. Here we go. So everything that's on my existing English YouTube channel, except for the live streams, is right here for you. If that interests you, if it's a little easier for you to do it that way. Well, I'm going to be here with you guys for the next couple of hours. Got somebody from Canada, India, got a student. Jackie, hello, Kurt. I'm a student and I appreciate all you do. You're welcome. I'm so happy to be doing this, you guys. I'm really in my zone. I got to tell you, I just love doing this. I love helping people. This whole journey is so fascinating. We got somebody from Ireland. Well, looks like we got a question. Again, super chats are active. If you want to grab my attention, that's a great way to do that. I don't have a regular corporate job, so it really helps to fund this operation. I used to work in the banking industry and met my twin flame. Now I'm here doing this. I cracked the code, but I still got to pay my bills. And I got 3 employees too. We got a full-blown operation going here, you guys. It's full-blown. 3 employees, 2 of them coaches. 1 of them is a dedicated customer service person. And she also does all the back office stuff, deals with the bookkeepers, uploads content. She's amazing. I just have such incredible people in this organization. Moderators in my Facebook groups. I screen them all. I train them. We got the call system, English, Spanish, both. If you want to talk, there's that too. So this is just awesome, you guys. By the way, if you're looking for closed captioning for the live streams, I don't think they're available for a live stream until after 24 hours, if I'm not mistaken, because YouTube, it takes a full 24 hours to process the live stream. And that's basically what it's doing. It's processing all of the talking and all of your chat in the live stream. So if you want to come back and watch the replay tomorrow, there's that. You'll be able to turn on closed captioning, even audio dubbing. You'll be able to listen in Persian or Spanish or whatever. So, gosh, there's 2 really great questions. I'm going to try to do them both. Here's this first one from Solani. Question: how do we draw boundaries when we know we are one with everyone and everything? Just a thought. I think I'm good at drawing boundaries, though. Yeah, that is a good question. You start with consciousness, actually, the actual spiritual journey. That's always primary. I'm telling you, it'll solve a lot of problems. There's just about no problem that consciousness can't fix for you. Um, including if you can't get something in the physical world to change and you don't want to suffer, so just that spiritual acceptance of it, um, you know, uh, to end the suffering around the things that you can't change is a beautiful thing. Um, yeah, I don't know. I don't have any control over the captions. Somebody's asking about Persian captions. I'm surprised. Uh, It's gotta be. It's gotta be. That can't be right. I don't know, but it's YouTube. I don't have any control over that. It should be though, my friend. Maybe try Googling it and see if there's something you can figure out. Anyway, back to this person's question. Um, so that's the first thing that's always primary is the being, who you really are, that consciousness, which the soul primarily is consciousness, of course. That's what this journey should be teaching you or reminding you, right? Because you're not really learning as much as you are remembering who you are as consciousness. So that's the first thing. That's primary. Now, when you believe that you are the mind, when you believe you are the ego, it's hard to, or at least a lot harder, to have a boundary, let alone try to enforce the boundary and live in peace, which I kind of just talked about, right? So if you, like I said, if you can't change the physical world, what's going on out there, then remembering that your consciousness helps you to accept that. And I mean acceptance, not in the context of approval, right? So some languages, they don't have a different word for the kind of acceptance that I'm talking about. They don't make that distinction. Um, hey, you're welcome. Sorry about the closed captioning, but I do try. But yeah, so when I say acceptance, I'm not talking about approval, right? It's more of a surrender, and I'll circle back to that because I want to finish making this next point. But that's the first thing. Always consciousness, always primary. You are consciousness, and there's a lot more that you can do to let go of suffering when you remember that first, including enforcing a boundary or at least having a boundary. Because if you believe you are the mind, if you believe you are the self concept, well, it'll never occur to you that you could have a boundary, let alone enforce that boundary, while at the same time not feeling any kind of way about it. So if you believe you are the mind, if you think you are the self concept of personality, which is not a bad thing, it's just not who you are. But if you believe that that's who you are, and you don't remember that you are actually consciousness beyond the mind, then to the ego, you have to be upset whenever somebody's testing your boundaries. You can never be free from that emotional response. That's the difference. That's how to have boundaries, even though you know that you are one with everyone and everything. There's a really great quote that I'd like to share with you that actually, this comes from Abraham Hicks. This came up on our manifesting call today, actually. Um, I'll read it for you because it really helps when you realize what the world really is, what this is really all about. who you are, and how to live in harmony with it. So this is part of the answer that I would give you. It's not the core. I kind of just covered that, right? You're not your mind, you are consciousness. When you remember that you are consciousness, then you can do actions with your body. You can do things like say no, have a boundary, and even try to enforce it, but you don't have to feel an emotion. And again, when you believe you are the mind, it never occurs to you. The ego only can react as it's enforcing that boundary, but you can move your mouth and do things with your body while not having an emotion about it. Well, here's the quote from Abraham Hicks. She said, "See this world as a free world and see everyone in it as trying through their individual experiences to find their way back to that calling, back to that source energy. And even though there are billions of them going about it in a way that is different than you would choose, there's no right or wrong way. In other words, bless them all and get on with the only thing that you have any power about, which is opening or closing your vortex to your natural state of well-being." And of course, that's her way of describing having control over your emotional state with your consciousness. Consciousness is what you are. So you can look at the world that way, even if you have people that say mean things about you and push your buttons. It's all part of the whole, wanting to return to the source in its own weird kind of way. Even if you don't like it, you can say, no, I don't choose that, but I don't have to judge it. I don't have to get upset about it. And if you do get upset, that's perfectly all right. There's a whole conversation we could have about the dangers of spiritual bypassing, which is not spiritual. It's actually the mind. And what the mind is attempting to do when it bypasses is to only feel good, right? Spiritual bypassing always starts with, I'm only allowed to feel good feelings. Only that is allowed, right? And that's not even possible. You live in duality. The world is going to test you. So if there is an emotion, it could be giving you information. Now, it could be, if you are emotionally dysregulated, it could be an overreaction. Around 80% of us on this journey, it turns out, have had some kind of trauma in our past. And I got that from a paranormal researcher named Julia Mossbridge. Here, I'll show you. Yeah, right here. Let me share my screen. So, Julia Mossbridge, this video here, talking about Julia Mossbridge on paranormal phenomenon. This one right here.
That AI can be a better human.
And somewhere in here, she mentions, around 80% of the people I work with that have this ability, that have this gift, like legit ESP, telepathic ability, had some kind of trauma from their past. Isn't that interesting that it's that high of a number? And I already know 8 out of 10 of you had some kind of trauma in your past. I did too. And she's got accolades. Dr. Julia Mossbridge is an American cognitive neuroscientist, author, and educator who works on exceptional human performance, including psi effects, so telepathy, intuition, right? notably on precognition and presentiment. She is the Senior Distinguished Fellow in Human Potential at the Center for the Future Mind at Florida Atlantic University, member of the Loomis Innovation Council at the nonpartisan Stimson Center, and affiliate professor in the Department of Biophysics and Physics at the University of San Diego, and founder and board chair of the nonprofit Institute for Love and Time. So she gets lots of money to do real scientific research. Hello? Hello? Is this thing working? There we go. It said my audio cut out. Anyway, yeah, she gets. Did you guys hear all the accolades that she has? Did you hear my description of all of her? She works at all these different universities. Did that part come through? Okay, cool. So she knows what she's doing. And she's getting a lot of money to do research on exactly the kind of experience that you guys are going through. So, where I was going with that is you could be somebody you likely are. 8 out of 10 of you have some kind of trauma from your past, so there could be an overreaction on your part emotionally, right? So, and you don't want to bypass that either. It's not a failure to have that emotion, but it helps if you understand your feelings. And instead of overreacting to them, learning about why you have that trauma and these types of things, which is psychology. And if you're going to do that, I highly recommend that you remember that you are consciousness first. If you want to do real healing, there's a way to do that. Healing does not make you spiritual, but the remembrance of yourself as a spiritual being may cause healing and often does. So that always comes first. Healing doesn't make you spiritual, but spiritual might cause healing, right? Don't put the cart before the horse. That's what most people are doing. And kind of where I was going with that is part of the bypassing is this idea that I have to become spiritual by doing a bunch of healing, or I'm only allowed to feel good. And if I have a negative emotion, it's a failure. It's not. It could be either because something is wrong in your outside world, someone's pushing your boundaries, or you're having an overreaction to something that's normal. So it could be either of those two things. And there's different ways of dealing with those. But when it comes to boundaries, which is Solani's question, yeah, it's fine. And I highly recommend it. I highly recommend it. Having boundaries, enforcing boundaries, speaking out, using your voice. That's something I'm probably going to start doing on my YouTube channel pretty soon, actually. So great question, Solani. Thank you. We got a super chat. Thank you so much for your super chat. You are so kind. I very much appreciate that. Here's a cool question. I haven't talked about this for a long time. About something called a false twin flame from Smaria 888. I like that. Kurt, hey, thank you for this session. I'm wondering, does something as a false twin flame exist? For 9 years, this person is every day in my head 24/7, but he shows me everything what love is not there for. And you're the runner. Well, you're probably not the runner, and I'll tell you why. But first, no, there is no such thing as a false twin flame. There is such a thing as reincarnation, and well over 60% of the world's population recognizes the existence of reincarnation, and that's really all that twin flames are. And that's it. Your twin flame is you. Everybody else is just everybody else. You and your twin flame really are the same soul, and there's a million different ways that I can explain that to you, show that to you, right? You guys have all seen this on my YouTube channel or Instagram or whatever it is. Your twin flame, best explanation, they are one of your past lives. And I can get more deep into this later if you guys would care to. I arrived at this conclusion using the scientific method. Also, I have many of these graphics now in Spanish here. So if you're a Spanish speaker, I have a lot of this stuff translated for you guys. If you want to grab a copy, if you're watching me on my Spanish YouTube channel, there's a Google Drive link because I don't use these a lot. I usually use the English versions. But that's a twin flame. A twin flame is another incarnation of your soul. And that's all it is. Everybody else is just everybody else. You can have soulmates and soulmates and false twin flames and karmics and kindred spirits and all that kind of stuff. But what really are those things? Because they're not intrinsic. Can you have a false tree? Well, it's probably just a weed, or there is no such thing as a false tree. But a real tree, I can point at it and I can go, that's a tree. It exists. It's a real fundamental thing that exists in our universe. I can show you a picture. You can walk up and touch one. You can climb it, right? So what's going on here? What's with all these other things? False twin flame, soulmate, or whatever it is. Well, it's another soul who is either really nice to you or really toxic to you, right? A soulmate. And maybe you guys met 10 lifetimes ago and you decided to hang out from life to life to life. You've reincarnated together. One time you were their dad. One time they were your dad. Another time you were best friends. Another time you were husband and wife. Another time you were incompatible friends. You decided, I'm going to be a Gemini and you're going to be a whatever, whoever doesn't get along with Geminis, right? Whatever, right? But the fact remains that you are two individual souls. You and your twin flame are the same soul. And it's not the soul splits. I guess I could talk about that later. That's not how that works. I was able to explain the twin flame push-pull by realizing that they're just one of your past lives, which is the most obvious answer. What else would it be? You guys are supposed to be the same soul, right? Well, yeah, that's exactly what it is. So no, there's no false twin flame. It's just some jerk, somebody that's abusive and toxic. And for whatever reason, they are manipulating you enough, Smaria, to where there's this back and forth with them all the time. It's psychological. Also, the runner, well, I mean, that's sort of a twin flame dynamic. But if it really was a twin flame, I would say, because there's people, they think they're the runner. So somebody who is actually a twin flame, right? And they go, I'm the runner now. Well, you're really not, because first of all, you were the chaser to begin with. You were pursuing them. And what's really happening is this person that you call twin flame, they made you mad. They're not reciprocating. they're not acting right, and they pissed you off. So you said, fuck it. And you pulled away, right? Well, that's covert chasing because you did that because you were expecting them to change their behavior. That's chasing. um, with a twin flame. That's what I tell people whenever they say, I'm the runner, right? But Smaria, I don't, um, I don't know that this person is your twin flame or not. Um, Maybe to kind of help you, I don't see any follow up comments from you here, um, which is fine. But yeah, maybe to help you out, you could just go watch my 7 True Signs video. Um, it's based on third party peer reviewed scientific literature. Is this thing gonna? Oh, hold on. There we go. Do that. Do this. Okay, here we go. So this is from a prestigious psychology journal called Frontiers in Psychology. Also, if you're watching in Spanish, there's a link in the description of not my live stream, but any other regular, like long form YouTube video, like 8 minutes, 10 minutes, 20 minutes, right? Like a regular YouTube video on my Spanish channel, on my Spanish speaking YouTube channel. This one, if you go to my Spanish channel and find any regular video, you'll find the link to the Spanish translated version right here. But anyway, this is how you tell if you met a twin flame. They trigger a spontaneous spiritual awakening. And the reason I'm showing you this is because this is a known phenomenon, very well understood, studied by scientists, psychologists, and college professors. These aren't necessarily spiritual people. These are college professors and psychologists. And they're talking about union. What is the word union doing in there? Talking about Kundalini. And they also talk about presentience, which is what Julia Mossbridge here was talking about, or that's what she studies. Precognition and presentiment. That's what it's called. And again, she gets money to research this stuff. And the reason I'm showing you this is all the time, you guys, is so that you know that even the science world is studying this stuff now, and they know this is real. And this is peer reviewed. This psychology paper, this is peer reviewed, controlled scientific literature about the very thing that you experience when you actually meet a twin flame. Jessica and David here are from the Center for Mental Health, School of Human Sciences, University of Greenwich, London, Center for Psychedelic Research, Department of Brain Sciences, Faculty of Medicine, Imperial College of London. I mean, this isn't quackery. This is real, guys, what's happening to you. And there's people getting a lot of money to look into this stuff. So, Smaria, what I would suggest that you do is head over to my YouTube channel and look for this playlist. It's called The True Twin Flame Teachings, because it's possible that this person is your other self, twin flame, another incarnation of your soul. It's theoretically possible that that is true, and they are toxic. Doesn't happen a lot. There's this video here. It's 3 hours, and it'll be the last fucking time that ever have to watch a video. Here it is. To try to figure out if it's your twin flame. This will be the last time. It's 3 hours. That sounds long, but it's worth watching. It's basically a free like college level master class because I describe everything in such great detail. I'll give you a quick rundown though. I thought I had a shorter video somewhere. 7 true twin flame signs. Yeah, there's this one. This one isn't bad. Sure. So just scroll down. If you go to the true twin flame teachings, there's this one here. It's 22 minutes. So you could maybe watch that one. This one though, the 3-hour one, I mean, it's so detailed, you guys. It's the be all and end all. But I'll run down the list for you like super fast if you want. Because if you're not experiencing this, if you're not experiencing a spontaneous spiritual awakening, which again, even science knows about that now. They talk about it and they write peer-reviewed literature about it. If you're not experiencing this, within 12 months after having met this person, it happens fast and it just happens. It's a spontaneous awakening. It's going to happen whether you want it to or not. So there's the dark night of the soul, which is intense suffering. That goes on for a couple months. But then you come out of that and you have Kundalini, psychic intuition in your heart, which comes true, information about future events, and then it comes true. And it's a knowing. You just know things. It's not mental either. You don't understand it. Psychic dreams. So again, a dream about a future event and then it comes true. It's not, oh, I'm listening to my spirit guides. No, you're not. If you think your spirit guides are talking to you in your head, probably not. That's like actually one of the indicators that you could have psychosis. You guys, there's people that are going to tell you, I don't know what I'm talking about, even though I'm using third-party peer-reviewed scientific literature. You can describe what real telepathy is. But there's people that listen to their own like mental chatter and they think it's their dead grandma or something. You got to be careful who you're talking to on the internet. Okay, an increase of deja vu, out of body experiences, heart chakra opening, a sense of oneness with the whole world or the universe. And it's a knowing, it's not an understanding. It's deeper than that. It's this weird, powerful, intuitive knowing experience, and it like overtakes you. And your mind actually stops during that time. Also, paranormal experiences, massive amounts of repeating number patterns: 111, 1111, 222, 444, 333, 777, 111, 1111, 144. Strange synchronistic events, lots of them. Sense of wonder, a desire to commune with God and nature, positive life changes that just happen spontaneously, and some other things. So you could go watch those videos. That's how you tell if it's a twin flame. If you're not having that experience spontaneously within 12 months without you having to do anything, it just starts happening. If that didn't happen to you, it's not your twin flame. It's just another soul. He's just a dick, and you should never talk to him again. I highly recommend. Okay, this person that gave me a super chat earlier is actually asking a question or just making a statement. Let me make sure. Okay, I don't see anything else. So this person that gave me a super chat, they said, I thought I met my twin flame and I had my spiritual awakening. I took your video course like 5 years ago. I made everything and he never came back. 5 years later, I met another person, dark night of the soul again. So what I would say to you is, once again, head over to the true where is it? Here we go. Head over to the True Twin Flame Teachings playlist and find my long masterclass level video, 3 hours, right here, the 7 true twin flame signs, because I don't remember you. 5 years is a long time. And 5 years ago, guys, I wasn't nearly as vocal about the metaphysical and paranormal experiences as I am today. And I'll tell you a story about that in a second because it's a very telling story. I learned a lot about being a coach here. Um, I, of course, had to invent how to be a coach for myself, right? A twin flame coach as I was going along. It's not like somebody trained me how to do it. So you might have been watching my older videos where I primarily focused on like the suffering part. And there's even, if you go to my YouTube channel, scroll down, there's a playlist here called Legacy Videos. So you go to Legacy Videos, and it's this video right here, the 5 true twin flame signs. This one right here, it's one of my most watched videos, 412,000 views. And people loved it so much because I just focused on the dark night of the soul and the desperation, right? And all the negative things that happen. And of course, that's what people like to focus on. So I don't know. To your question here or your statement, maybe you didn't have the spontaneous spiritual awakening. This right here. And I apologize. Like I said, I don't have a crystal ball. I was experiencing all that shit, the Kundalini, out of body experiences, psychic intuition, and I would talk about it sometimes, but I didn't realize like how really earth shattering that is, or I should say like how important that is to emphasize those things to the public at the time. Because I was, just a couple of years removed from the suffering and the whole experience of that I think I was focused on the wrong things. And I mean, you're saying that you had another dark night of the soul, but if all this metaphysical and paranormal stuff does not happen after the suffering, then it's not dark night of the soul, the suffering part. It was just suffering. And I've had that too. I've had really bad relationships, really bad breakup. It was awful. And it was just suffering. And I learned a lot from it and I changed a lot from it, but there was no Kundalini activations or heart chakra opening or spontaneous psychic visions or leaving my body or any of that stuff. It was just a really horrible experience. And a lot of people, they fixate on that and they go, oh, that's my awakening. I suffered, so that proves that I had an awakening. No, it's what happens after the dark, what you're calling dark night of the soul. It's what happens after the suffering that shows that you're having an awakening. And that's not debated. It's not debated by scientists. People can tell me I'm wrong, but you're going to have to tell that to not only the University of Greenwich in London, the University of Virginia, Julia Mossbridge that studies these things. You're also going to have to go tell Mr. Eckhart Tolle here, who had the exact same experience that somebody who met a twin flame had. He had dark night of the soul, also known as ego death. In the Zen traditions, this has been known about for a long time. And then after it, he had Kundalini, heart chakra opening, spontaneous intuition, and then he entered into a state of enlightenment. This twin flame thing is very unique in that you should be experiencing those things, but you can, if you focus on the person too much, kind of mess it up because you're focusing on the wrong things. So it is unique in that kind of way. So just go watch that video. Again, it's long, but maybe you'll really benefit from that this time. because I'm a better teacher. I'm a much better teacher. Um, okay, well, there you go. So you had all of those experiences. The only reason your twin flame would not have come back is because you were making them the goal. That's the other thing. So again, kind of like what I was just talking about. Um, the thing that's unique about the twin flame experience is you have this thing that you can focus on. If you think about like the way that Eckhart Tolle had his awakening, it was all life circumstances and anxiety. I've got a buddy who had a spontaneous spiritual awakening with all the things, Kundalini, all of it, right? And he didn't meet a twin flame, and neither did Eckhart Tolle. His was anxiety and life circumstances. Well, my buddy, his was he got into trouble with the law. He had like a life-threatening illness, a blood clot, like a really big blood clot, went all the way from his ankle up to his thigh. Huge. And all it takes is a little chunk like that to break off and get into your heart, and you die instantly, right? Very serious. And they also put him on all these weird psychotropic medications. So it was kind of a set of perfect storm conditions. He went into this tailspin, worst suffering ever. And when he came out of it, he had all the crazy metaphysical and paranormal things. And he is today the most psychic person that I've ever met. Crazy psychic. Other than maybe like if you go to Sedona and there's psychics there and they're fucking good. The one I went to last time when I was there, she was really accurate. Oh my God. It was awesome. I also got a picture on my aura taken. Well, anyway, my point is that Eckhart Tolle, he's not sitting around trying to make sure that his old life circumstances and his anxiety want to be in a relationship with him. My friend who also had the awakening, he's not sitting around trying to figure out what to do about the blood clot or what to do about the legal problems he had. Right? Like, how do I get him to stay? Who does that? So this twin flame thing is unique in that way. There's this person, and also the fact is they are you. The person is you. They are you. You are your twin flame. You are them. You really are the same soul. They're one of your, excuse me, they're one of your past freaking lives, for God's sake. That's what I figured out about this. It's just reincarnation. And because you guys are the same soul, sometimes you can feel them. I've had that experience. And you feel that like intuitive knowing that I always talk about when I describe intuition. It's not understood and it's not an emotion. Although you might feel or sense is a better word, whatever emotion they are feeling, but there has to be that knowing with it. If there's not the knowing with it, it's just your mind making up shit. But there's even people that have like flashbacks of actually being their twin flame. Like I am looking through their eyes at some activity they're doing or something. And there's that knowing with it. It emanates from your torso. It's this weird, eerie knowing. It's not thought or emotion. If that knowing is present, then you're having an authentic experience of being your twin flame or feeling something about them or getting information about them. Why? Because that information can travel through, it'll travel through your higher self, the soul. That's kind of the circle at the top there. But the two dots next to each other, kind of at the bottom, that say present day. Present day, that's you and your twin flame. Those other dots are other birth years, other lives that you've lived, right? And then there's also this, there's the twin flame push pull, right? This is different than any other kind of way to have a spontaneous awakening. It's true. So the most common mistake that you could make with your twin flame is to ever have any expectation about the outcome. So to this person, to your question and to your statement, you took my coaching 5 years ago. It's not too late. The second person that you mentioned, probably not your twin flame. It's possible theoretically, but the only way that you could really tell is if there's all the other stuff after the suffering. But if you want, you could get your twin flame to come back still if you want them. It's been 5 years since you took my coaching. I redid the whole entire video program in Spanish too. You can watch it in Spanish. But it's over 60 hours long. And it's way better than the old one that you watched. You guys, I'm always trying to make improvements. Oh, there was one other thing before I go to the next question. But yes, evolution, to your question or statement, you could get them to come back, but you really got to double down on the spiritual journey instead of them. And if you rewatch the new videos, I just redid the whole video course. Oh my God, it's so much better. There's all kinds of students that I signed up years ago that went back and rewatched the videos and had breakthroughs. You guys, and it's free. You just log in. You don't pay more money. That's my commitment. You could think of it as a warranty. If you sign up for my coaching, if there's ever upgrades, you get them for free for life. Here's the other thing I wanted to say about that, though. Get this, you guys. So 5 years ago, I wasn't really talking about the crazy metaphysical and paranormal stuff as much as I talk about it today. Not nearly. Now I talk about it in almost every video because I want to make sure that I'm getting actual twin flames. And I got a lot more people to sign up, but a lot of them were not twin flames. They were just obsessed. And there's even something here. I'll share this with you. Obsessive love disorder. This is a real thing. This could be going on. Again, there's the link for this. Is it going to share it? Hold on. There we go. Come on. Don't be shy. Come on. There we go. Obsessive love disorder. So there's a link for this in every live stream. There's also a link for this in every live stream. And again, if you're watching in Spanish, head over to my Spanish YouTube channel. Pick any long form video. There's a link in the description of every long form video for this and this. And the reason that I link both the spontaneous spiritual awakening paper and the article about obsessive love disorder is because I'm trying to provide that contrast to you guys that, yeah, there's a lot of people that are just obsessed and they didn't really meet a twin flame at all. They're just obsessed with somebody or they had a bad breakup, and there's no end to the people online telling you that that proves it's your twin flame. You don't have to have any of the other stuff happening. It's just a bad breakup and it was really bad and I really like this person, so that proves it's my twin flame, and some fucking psychic told me. No scientific inquiry at all. None of that. We can't have that. Don't use the scientific method to prove it. How can a third party, how could you prove to a third party that you and this person are really the same soul? How could you do that? Is there a way to do that? Well, yeah, there is a way to do that. Can I? Hold on. Let me try that. No. I don't want to do that. Here, let me try that. Share screen. Window. That. There it is. Okay. Very good. Okay. Maybe. Oh. Okay. Yeah. There we go. The scientific method. How could you prove beyond any doubt to a third party that you met somebody who is the same soul? Guys, there is a way. There is a way. The scientific method is nothing more than test the shit out of something until you can prove that it's true. That's all it is, right? And there's all kinds of things that you only get with your twin flame, even. You only get with them. Can I do this? Hold on. So there we go. Again, head over to my YouTube channel, anybody watching, and look for this playlist, The True Twin Flame Teachings. English. I got it English and Spanish. And there's this video, the 7 True Twin Flame. Is it showing my fucking thing or not? No, hold on. Here we go. English or Spanish, the seven True Twin Flame Teachings. It's on my playlist called The True Twin Flame Teachings. The True Twin Flame Teachings. The video is called The 7 True Twin Flame Signs. If you're not sure if it's really a twin flame or not, that's how you can tell. And again, everybody's having it. Everybody is getting the same thing. It's repeatable. It's duplicatable. You can demonstrate using a set of questions, a set of criteria, and you're going to get the same answer every time. That's the scientific method. And that's why we have people like Julia Mossbridge, for example, who are getting a lot of money to do research on stuff like this. I'm not making this stuff up. Twin flames is real, and you can prove it. You can prove it, or this. So there is something real going on here. And you don't have to just rely on anybody's answer. But again, the internet is full of people that are just obsessed, and that's all. They're only obsessed. And you can't talk them out of it. They're inconsolable. They're going to tell you you're wrong. They're going to insist that it's their twin flame. Yeah? Well, do something to get this person to come back, because you can. That's the other thing about this. And the only thing I can think of to this last person that we were talking to is that they maybe were making their person the goal. If you're making your person the goal. There's even student interviews. Before I go to the next question, there's even student interviews that I added to the new video course at the end with my students that are married to their twin flame. If you want to go check that out, I got a lot of those. Here, twin flame success stories. There's an interview, and I have it in English, of course, and Spanish, twin flame success stories. I've got students that are married to their twin flame. They're living together. Twin flame success stories. So this first gal here on the English playlist, Gretel, she's married. Rain, she's with her twin. Ruxar here, she's married and has kids with her twin flame. Baya, she's married. All these people are with their twin flame. And then there's all these testimonial videos too, where I just go around YouTube and social media showing you written testimonials that people leave everywhere. Yeah, you can be with your twin, but what they're going to tell you in the interview that we did is the biggest mistake anybody makes on the twin flame journey is to call it a twin flame journey. It's your spiritual awakening. You can't make the person the goal. You absolutely cannot. And that's the first thing we talked about. In that interview, the interview I'm talking about is available in the paid coaching program. So we did a big Zoom meeting with 4 of us all at once. It was myself, Gretel, Chanel, and SJ. And they all said that. Yeah, that's the number one thing everybody screws up is making the person the goal. And I even added additional teachings about like how you got to stop making sure. It's awesome, you guys. So try that. I don't know. All right, let's go to the next one. M77777, thank you for the super chat. If we can go back to the past and see ourselves, this means that all moments and incarnations that we consider past and over are existing now and being lived now. Does this mean we're trapped in a time loop? No. It means that time is relative. I really like this question. So you've been watching my videos, I'm going to guess, right? About what are twin flames. So there's a playlist on my YouTube channel, English or Spanish. If you scroll down, there's a playlist here called Twin Flame Science because I want to show you. Whoops. Here we go. I want to show you that this is real, guys. This is real. Reincarnation is a very well-known phenomenon, and the vast majority of people on Earth recognize the existence of reincarnation. And actually, reincarnation explains why your twin flame runs from you. But this very first video here called What Are Twin Flames? I break it all down. It's an hour and 5 minutes of your time well spent. What are twin flames? It's such a great video because you guys, there is a very rational, grounded, easy to understand, simple explanation which completely complies with simple physics. It doesn't break any physical laws. It explains how you could be the same soul. It complies with physics, and it explains why your twin flame runs. It has to be. It has to be. They're one of your past lives. But for anybody that's new here and you don't know what the heck I'm talking about, I'll just give you a quick, super quick explanation so that you understand M777's question. Most people think that when you reincarnate, well, actually, no, I don't think most people think this. Actually, I think most people have never really thought about it. If I was to ask you, tell me in the chat, you guys, if I was to ask you in your next life, anybody who doesn't know what I'm talking about, anybody that's new, I want to know. Let me know in the chat. In your next life, when do you want to reincarnate? If you could go anywhere, when would you go? Did you know you could do that? Because I want to go back to the 1930s, right? 1939 seems like a good sweet spot because I could enjoy like the 50s and the 60s, right? All the cool shit that happened without getting drafted, right? I checked. 1939 birth year. I will not get drafted into Vietnam, right? Because you don't have to go into the future in your next life. You do not. You can go anywhere you want to go. And you have, and that's usually what you do. There could be 30 of you walking around out here. Right. It's just reincarnation, guys. You met one of these 30 people that you've been or will be in a past or future incarnation. That's all it is, guys. Yeah, you guys really are the same soul. And this explanation perfectly complies with pretty basic physics that all scientists know about. So, a misconception that people have, and again, this graphic right here, the two dots that say present day, right at the bottom, that's you and your twin flame. And then the other dots are future or past birth years. So present day. That's you and your what you call twin flame. And then the other dots are past or future times. But 1880 could be your next life. It really could. Now, a mistake that people often make is they say, oh, well, science says that there's no such thing as time. Well, not exactly. I guess you could say ultimate reality. Sure, there's no such thing as time. Ultimate reality. But when you're here in the physical, there is time and it's relative. It depends on your place in the universe, right? That's what Albert Einstein meant when he was talking about relativity, right? Relativity. In science, they call the duality of our universe relativity. And in spiritualism, they just call it duality, right? And then the oneness that everything came from. In spiritualism, we call it the source. And in science, they call it a singularity, right? So we're all talking about the same thing. Spiritual people, right? Scientists, it turns out. But from higher planes of existence, which is this big circle. Whoops. There we go. The big circle is where you go when you do the thing that we call die, right? Heaven or whatever you want to call it. It's a higher plane of existence. Yeah, even a conventional scientist, they're going to tell you, yeah, there's no time from higher planes. We experience time down here in the physical, though. So if we can go back to the past and see ourselves, this means that all moments, this is M777's question. If we can go back to the past and see ourselves, this means that all moments and incarnations that we consider past and future, I'm assuming is what they meant, are existing now and being lived now. Yes. From a higher plane of existence. Yes. If you could be your higher self right now. Yes. Are you? Well, not exactly. I mean, you are that too, but you chose to come down here and forget that and just be a physical human for right now. And for right now, time is best described as relative or even linear from your physical experience, right? So, to your question, are you living all of those lives right now? Not as a mortal human. No, not as a mortal human. You are not. And you're not trapped in a time loop. You can leave anytime you want. This physical plane where there is time. When you do the thing that we call die, you can go back up there and you can say, I'm good. I'm never going to reincarnate again. I just don't feel like it. I just don't feel like it. So, good question. Well, let's see. What else do we got here? Um, uh, here's a good question from Mercedes. Kurt, I don't seem to have any more processing of thoughts of my other self, twin flame, but it's like he's sitting pretty in my head, like it's his home, right? Yeah. He's living in your head. You're thinking about him a lot, right? My mind now wants to have or wants to be through with this, right? But then nothing happens, I think is what you're saying there. Well, no. She said, no, that's not what I'm saying. Okay. Well, restate your question. Um, uh, and I'll come back to you. Um, I want to address this statement. Oh, really interesting. Okay, I'll come back to you. Um, actually, no, let's finish with you, and then I'll do this next person. So I don't seem to have any more thoughts about. Oh, you don't have any more thoughts about him, but he's still in your head. It's like I want to think why he's seating, like a picture of him sitting there. So you're just like seeing like an image of him? I don't know. I mean, if you are having any kind of thoughts about him, it doesn't really matter. Um Here's the thing, whatever it is that's going on in your head with him. Maybe you're not obsessively thinking about him, but you're thinking about him a little bit, or you'll remember like his face or what he looks like or something. Mercedes, it doesn't really matter because you're not your mind. That's the solution here. Your mind can do anything it wants to do. You guys, every day, the monkey mind, my monkey mind, it thinks about some bullshit from 1987. Seriously. Or 2014. Or some shitty thing that my mom did. She did a lot of shitty things. Or the bullies at school or whatever it is. Why does it do that? I don't know. It's the monkey mind. It just does that. And you don't need to do anything about it. You don't need to do anything about it. You are not that which is thinking. So I'm assuming that you're already reading this book. English, Spanish, Hindi, Arabic, whatever. This book is available in just about every language. And this is the best beginner's book for anybody's spiritual awakening. Anybody. It's called The Power of Now. The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle, who is essentially the modern day Buddha. The very first chapter, very first thing that we need to talk about is you are not your mind. It's so important. It's the first thing we got to talk about. Second chapter, second thing we need to talk about is that you are consciousness, and consciousness is the way out of suffering. It's the way out of pain. And that's true because the mind creates suffering, the thinking and the emotions. The problem is that we believe ourselves to be that, right? But Mercedes, here's how this really works, the human machine. You are body, mind, soul, right? So what are these things? Well, the body, we know what that is. Okay. What's the mind? Well, thoughts, emotions, metaphysical energy, um, chakras also. Um, Also, this clump of retained thought and emotional imprints that you've been accumulating since you were a child. The roles that you play in life, right? Like even when you were a kid, you were a student at school. That's who I am. And I'm Jane's daughter. Maybe, I don't know what your mom's name is, but I'm the daughter of Jane, right? And now as an adult, I'm a mom, I'm a brother, I'm a doctor, I'm a lawyer, I'm a teacher, I'm a truck driver. I respond this kind of way in these types of situations, and I respond that kind of way in those types of situations. I'm a liberal, I'm a conservative. I like these things, I don't like those things. That's who I am. That's what me is, right? It's the little me. The little me. And we believe ourselves to be that. We believe we are this person. In many of the Zen traditions, they refer to that as Maya. Maya, the illusion of self. So read The Power of Now if you have not already. Also, there's a really great documentary film. Everybody should watch this film. There we go. There we go. Samadhi. Samadhi right here. Samadhi. Here, I'll link it in the chat stream for you guys. And they have audio dubbing. I'll show you how to use that. There's the link to the video. There's 4 parts, but make sure you watch part 1 first, or else it won't make sense to you. So watch this. You go here to this little gear icon, and right here it says audio track. I already have it changed to Spanish, right? So just listen.
Forma de vida. Al igual que el ganado, la mayoría de los seres humanos viven y mueren en subyugación pasiva,
Now, what happens if I turn it
alimentando
off?
con sus vidas la Matrix.
Say something. Yeah. Come on, bro. Spit it out.
Samadhi is awakening from the dream of your character in the play of life.
Did you hear what he just said? Samadhi is awakening from the character of the dream of your life. The mind is this kind of mental prison, and you believe that you are that. You believe that you are the mind, but you're not. If you think, Mercedes, about a newborn baby, 1 day old, it's a soul that just incarnated, right? Brand new baby, 1 day old. Is the baby thinking about who it is? Does the baby have a little me? No, the only thing going on inside the baby is the big you, the real you, awareness, consciousness itself. You are consciousness. That's the only thing going on inside the baby. It's only aware. The mask of self, the identity of self, who you believe yourself to be, the self-concept, the story of me, that comes later, like 7 or 8 is when that kind of hardens into what it's going to be. And even a psychologist will tell you that. So Mercedes, you're not your mind. And that is exactly what meeting your twin flame is supposed to trigger within you. But unfortunately, the internet is full of a lot of really super nice people. They really mean well. They want to help. But very confused, nice people, but very confused. And they're obsessed. They're obsessed. They haven't met another incarnation of their soul. And they're going to tell you it's all about this person, the person. I've got to be with this person. Nobody else will do. It has to be them. Nobody else will do, right? Meanwhile, there's other people, you, Mercedes, that are experiencing this. And again, this is third-party, peer-reviewed scientific literature published in a prestigious psychology journal about the phenomenon called a spontaneous spiritual awakening. And again, if you're watching in any one of my English YouTube long-form videos or live streams, there's a link to both of these in the description. Spanish, there's a link in the description of my long-form regular videos on my Spanish YouTube channel if you want to read these. And I provide that contrast. Are you just obsessed, or is there all this other crazy, weird, cool shit going on? And again, this is the University of Greenwich in London, the Imperial College of London, the University of Adelaide in Australia, Barcelona University, University of Sao Paulo in Brazil, right? This is peer-reviewed. These are college professors and psychologists. And again, they use the word union. Wait a minute. What is that word doing there? Union? Huh. Yeah, maybe that word doesn't mean what you think it means, you guys. So that's why there's so much confusion when you meet this person, is because, first of all, it's a person. It's not like when I talked about earlier where Eckhart Tolle, his awakening was life circumstances, or my friend who had an awakening, his was also life circumstances. You're not going to obsess over some problem that took place in your life when it's over. You're just going to be having kundalini and becoming psychic and all this other weird shit, right? And you're going to be loving it. But with this person, they keep coming back every time you let them go. God damn it. Right? And then the internet tells you to double down and stay obsessed, because most of the people, I dare say almost 100%, you guys, of the people that think they met a twin flame, they didn't. And they're just obsessed. They're just obsessed. And that's why you're getting the impression that it's about this person, and you're thinking you need to do something about the person, like healing or whatever, right? And there's no healing. You can't heal your way into the soul. You don't fix the mind to become a soul. We literally just talked about that. You are a soul first on day one, newborn baby. And none of the great spiritual masters are going to tell you that healing will make you spiritual. Healing will not cause self-actualization. Buddha, Paramahansa Yogananda, Krishnamurti, Alan Watts, even Jesus, the most misunderstood spiritual teacher, but post-enlightenment, you read a book like this and you're going to go, oh, that's what he was talking about, right? He's talking about the same stuff that Buddha was talking about. And Eckhart Tolle, who is essentially the modern day Buddha, they're going to go, healing is fine, but it doesn't make you spiritual. And as a matter of fact, if you start with spiritual, if you start with the fact that your consciousness, healing actually can happen. It's weird because all the people on the internet, all the new agers and stuff, they're all telling you to just do healing and balancing your inner feminine and masculine. And yeah, are any of them even a twin flame, first of all? And have they helped anybody to be with their twin flame? Have they helped even one person to do it? No, they haven't. And guys, it matters. It matters. I've helped thousands of people to be with their twin flame. Again, go to my YouTube channel, English or Spanish, and you can watch student interviews. These people are living with their twin flame. They're with their twin flame. They're married. English or Spanish. I've helped a lot of people, guys, and they're all going to tell you. All I did was let this person go and go within. No healing, but experiencing myself as that deeper consciousness. Twin flame came right back. Slicker than shit, guys. So awesome. So Mercedes, I hope that helps. You don't need to do anything about your mind. You don't need to change your mind, think different thoughts, make it stop. You're just not that. You're not that to begin with. And that's what brings you that peace. The mind, the monkey mind, it could be doing anything. Anything. And it wouldn't bother you. But it's because we get identified with mind. It's when you believe you are that which is thinking. That's what'll drive you crazy, right? That's what makes it all the more difficult. Okay, I'm gonna do any super chats. Okay, no, I'm gonna do and Mercedes, you're welcome. It's my pleasure. It's my pleasure. Okay, I'm gonna do first. This person here, I want to address something, and because this provides a lot of confusion to people out there in this space. And then there's this person. You cannot afford my coaching, no problem. So I'm going to hook you up today. If you're still with us, just restate your question, and I'll find you towards the bottom. Okay. She says, is it at all possible that my twin and I reincarnated twice? 2 different timelines. Example, we found each other, loved, lost, he died, reincarnated again, and to do this shit again, but I remember and he doesn't. All right, let me show you something. Let's see, there's the Spanish one. Yep. Oh, wait, that's not it. Hold on. Oh, I don't have one in Spanish. Damn it. That's okay. Oh, I don't have it at all. Ready to go. That's okay. I got these things. 1 second. Here it is. Okay. So if you're watching me in Spanish, everybody, we got this, okay, to go off of. And then this, for anybody watching in English, is going to be a little bit different than the one that I usually use. Because back here, I've got 2 1880 birth years. Right? So normally it's this. So this is Spanish. This one's the English, right? Showing what twin flames really are. So present day, that's you and your twin flame, what you call twin flame, simultaneous incarnation of the same soul. And then other birth years, 1770, 1880, or a future life. Well, not a future life, but a future time. Because reincarnation is a time machine. You don't have to keep going forward every time you reincarnate. So this graphic here is showing that. How you can jump around in time every time you reincarnate. And something that is universally accepted by everybody is that A, that you can do that. You can jump around in time when you reincarnate. And then B, the more times you reincarnate, consciousness increases with each life lived. Right? Which explains why your twin flame runs. I can talk about that later. But it's energy. It's not psychology. It's energy why they run. It's the twin flame push-pull. You push, they pull away. So this is twin flames, guys. It's just reincarnation. Yeah, you guys are really the same soul, for really fucking real. You've reincarnated so many times, and you can keep reincarnating in the same basic time period. Like if you enjoy the 1960s or the 1970s, you can keep reincarnating there over and over again, over and over again. And you have. There could be 30 of you walking around out here, and you met one of them. It explains how you two can be the same soul. It explains why your twin flame runs, and it's perfectly in agreement with known physical laws, pretty basic physical laws, I should add. There's absolutely nothing controversial about this theory, and it's not the soul splits. Sometimes you'll see that one around, and that could be maybe where your question is coming from, but that came from Plato. There's a literary work from Plato called Symposium, and it's all romantic prose, and it's it is as if the soul split in two, and they've been reunited together forever as one, and they just love each other so much, and right? Okay. Is that what you're experiencing? No. Plato, he doesn't say anything about the dark night of the soul, the suffering, the obsessive thinking, the sleepless nights. You can't function. You couldn't even eat. I couldn't even eat. Right? I could barely, it was like it took everything I had to get into the shower and go to work every day. And I didn't have to do anything at my job. That's another interesting thing. I should talk about that later. If I can remember. Hold on. I'm gonna talk about that. You guys will think that's really interesting because that happens to everybody. Plato, he also doesn't talk about Kundalini, becoming psychic, leaving your body, merging with God, repeating number patterns. He doesn't say anything about that. And then there's another guy, Aristophanes, who apparently talked about the soul splits. Yeah. Does he talk about any of the awakening symptoms? And again, this isn't my opinion, guys. I'm not making this up. I'm not making this stuff up. This isn't my opinion. I've got peer-reviewed third-party scientific literature to prove to you what happens when you meet a twin flame. Look in the video description, English or Spanish, for the link. Spanish, you got to go to my YouTube channel, but just look at any one of my long-form videos, and you'll see it. You'll see it, right? This happens to everybody that met their twin flame. And another interesting thing that happens to about half of you when you meet a twin flame is this. You can physically feel the energy pulling. It's not an emotion. It's not like a rush, like a sexual rush, like that. You know how you get that with people sometimes? It's none of those. It's energy. It's like there's a big elastic rubber band attached to your whole torso. And you physically feel the energy pulling from you to your twin flame. It's a force. You physically feel it. And a lot of the people that I've talked to about this, they said that their twin flame, the so-called masculine twin, said that they could feel it pushing onto them. Also, if you let this person go, you could be a no contact for years. You let this person go, align with your soul, not healing. We just talked about that, but align with your soul, do the master's journey, right? Real spiritualism, right? Not healing. Healing is fine. Healing is good, but it's not spiritualism. And the fact that healing is not spiritual is not debated by the great spiritual masters. It's not my opinion. It's a fact. Buddha, Jesus, Paramahansa Yogananda, Krishnamurti, Ram Dass, Ramana Maharshi, the big names. They're going to tell you, yeah, you can't heal your way into the soul. Doesn't work that way. Sorry, that's just new age internet hype, guys. None of the people that are telling you to do that have helped anybody to be with their twin flame, by the way. Just saying. I've helped thousands to do it. Thousands. So obviously, what I'm teaching you does work. Align with your soul, be consciousness. Person comes back like magic. Like magic. Obviously, there's something going on here. Plato and Plato and Aristophanes never talked about that in their writings. And they said the soul splits, yeah. And then somebody who thinks they met their twin flame, maybe, maybe not, they saw that and they just go, oh, that's what it is. And there's no known physical law that would explain how the soul could split, by the way. There's a really great video on my YouTube channel here. Again, go to the home page of my YouTube channel. It doesn't matter which one, English or Spanish. Scroll down. And there's this playlist here, Twin Flame Science. You go there. And this second video is called How the Soul Works. And this really isn't controversial. It's not debated what the soul is, right? You've heard people talk about how the soul is like an energy cloud, or it's an imprint in the universe, or you're going to a higher plane when you die. I mean, even a conventional Christian is going to tell you that, right? You go to a higher plane of existence when you die. Well, what does science have to tell us about what it's like on a higher plane? It's just a wave of probabilities. That's it. It's a wave. It's information. That's it. That's the soul. And a wave doesn't split. It doesn't turn into two things. It's not even a physical thing that could split like that. It just doesn't work that way. It's a wave, guys. It's like a radio wave. It's exactly like that. And your body and your mind are hardwired tuned to that frequency. Go watch that video, How the Soul Works. So let me go back to this now. What if you decided to reincarnate 2 times into the year 1880, right? Into the year 1880, or even whatever, the 1970s, right? And you had this experience of meeting this other person, right? So you did it back then and you did it today. And you go, I met them. It's them. They are my twin flame. I met them. Nope. It's all you. It's all you. So this is, let's say, your twin flame, this red dot, and this is you. Wait a minute. They're both you. In this life, in the present day, there's you and there's your twin flame, but your twin flame is just one of your past lives. So this could be a future life, and this is a past life. Also, twin flames is reincarnation. That's all it is, guys. That's all it is. Are you going to do it? Is it going to do it? Come on. Come on. There we go. There it is. Twin flames is just reincarnation, guys. They're just one of your past lives. And so if you had what you believe to be was a past life with your twin flame, it's either not your twin flame, it's a soulmate, or you're just having visions or flashbacks from only one perspective from that time period. You're having visions or flashbacks from this incarnation, but not this one. It's all you. It's all you. It's all past or future lives. It's all you. And so I just wanted to address that because that's something that people they get confused about. You don't have past lives with your twin flame. There's no them. There's no them, guys. It's all you having different experiences in different bodies. And this, again, this is how I came to this conclusion was, number one, it's so fucking obvious. Number two, it explained why your twin flame runs. That was my big like code breaker aha moment. When I figured that out. Is this thing gonna work? Okay, there we go. Yeah. So why you as the feminine have more consciousness, more energy that you would use to push them away. It's the second law of thermodynamics. And actually, let's just say it works like the second law of thermodynamics. Let's just say it's akin to that, right? I believe it's actually something else. I've been doing a little research on it, on energy systems, but why there is that push-pull is this. It's because your twin flame is one of your past lives. It really is you in another body. Yeah, so that's all. That's all it is. It's really just you having another experience in a different body. Okay. So this other person. Oh, well, this was their question. All right. This other person wanted to ask a question. Where do you live, by the way? Tell me in the chat where you live. Shagun Sharma. Let me know where you live. But I might, if you can't afford my coaching, I could have my customer service like send you some resources if you want. We would be happy to do that. But basically, you're asking like for basics, like, okay, how do I do my spiritual awakening, right? Because what am I always telling you guys? You met your twin flame. The twin flame journey, there's no twin flame journey, actually. The twin flame journey is really just the true spiritual journey, right? So everybody else is telling you to be in this line here. It says the twin flame obsession, right? You should get into this line. It says the true spiritual journey. And there's even people that'll screw this up for you and tell you to do healing or whatever, which is why I own the trademark. I'm for real. I trademarked the true spiritual journey because I don't want people to screw that up. They're trying. So Shagun, again, let me know where you live in the chat. Step one, let go of the twin flame myths. That's step one. There's 3 steps. That's step one. So like the twin flame stages, there's no stages. And nobody, not even one person, guys, not even one has completed all of these steps and then ended up with their twin flame. That has never, ever happened. Your twin flame does not awaken either. That's a myth. And again, we talked about this earlier. Suffering is not a spiritual awakening. Suffering is not a spiritual awakening. Just because you're having a tough time in life does not mean that you are having a spontaneous spiritual awakening. And that is not my opinion. Kurt, he just thinks he's right all the time. He's a son of a bitch. Blah, 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 blah. Right? Nope. This is peer-reviewed third-party scientific literature from prestigious universities and institutions that appears in a prestigious psychology journal. Psychologists, college professors talking about a spontaneous spiritual awakening. Also available in Spanish. Look in the video description. There's a link if you're a Spanish speaker. But again, look at this, guys. They're using the word union. What's that word doing there? Yeah, maybe that word doesn't mean what you think it means. Well, anyway, the myths, the twin flame myths, you got to let them go, guys. That really is, it is that important. It's the first thing you got to do. Did you really meet a twin flame? Go watch my 7 true signs video, number 1. Number 2, none of the people that are telling you those myths have helped anybody to be with their twin flame. This works, guys. This works if you do it properly. It really does. It really does. Again, once again, here's my playlist. Twin flame success stories. All of these people are with their twin flames. Some of them married and having families together. It's crazy. It's crazy how many people I've helped. And again, I have it English and Spanish. Go check it out. So, obviously, the teachings are sound because I'm going to use the master's teachings, not the new age hype, not the healing stuff, not the twin flame stages, not your twin flame awakens. Nobody has ever had that happen. Nobody who is really having a spontaneous spiritual awakening, nobody who really met a twin flame does their divine masculine twin flame awaken, nor did they do healing to get their twin flame to be with them. No one. So my teachings are sound. I'm using the master's teachings, Buddha, Jesus, Krishnamurti, Yogananda, right? Eckhart Tolle, Alan Watts, the masters, Ramana Maharshi. Not only are my teachings sound, and no, I don't think I'm better than anybody else. I'm just using logic, you guys. But also, I've got the proof. I've helped a lot of people, and you can go watch interviews with some of them right now. I've got thousands of testimonials all over my YouTube channel, social media, people that I've helped to be with their twin flame. And I'm here to let you know, these are myths, guys. They don't align with genuine spiritualism, and nobody's ever used this mythology to get their twin flame to be with them. No one. Not even one person. I just had, about 2 weeks ago, I posted, here, let me see if I can find it. Here it is. I posted this. The number of people who tried to balance masculine and feminine energies and got their twin flame to be with them is still 0. And there were people, I posted that to Facebook also, and there were people on that post on Facebook going, "You're wrong. Are you with your twin flame?" I asked them. And they go, "Well, no, but, oh." "Well, no, but here's the thing, Kurt." And then it was like a word salad. I just blocked them. I just deleted them and blocked them, guys. Nobody's ever done that. Not even one. Let go of the myths. That's number 1. Shagun, I really hope you're watching. I really hope you're watching. Let me know. I got some free stuff I'm going to give you. Okay. you got to contact us. But let me know if you're still watching. Let me know in the chat. Okay, step 2. Stop chasing your twin flame. Step 1 is let go of the myths. Step 2, stop chasing your twin flame. And that includes energetically pining for them, yearning for them, right? Like laying in bed at night and just, oh, I love them so much. And oh, romanticizing them, idealizing them. Guys, it's one of your past lives. The ego is what's doing all that. The ego mind is projecting all that romantic stuff onto them. But you're literally, your twin flame is one of your past lives. You are literally watching a replay of stuff that you did in one of your past lives. When you see your twin flame, you're watching a replay of stuff you did in one of your past lives. Like, I want to make this as real as possible to you, guys. It's reincarnation, which also explains the eyes and everything. So it's really useless for you to keep chasing this person. And even, guys, when you come together with your twin flame permanently, it's just peace. It's just Zen, right? It's not what the internet says at all. Is this thing working? Oh, I want this one. There we go. Again, if you go watch these interviews, they'll tell you what it's like to be with your twin is just peace, right? Again, English and Spanish. I've got this playlist. Go watch these interviews, guys. It's just peaceful. This one with Ruxar is good. This one here. This gal. She's awesome. I could listen to her talk all day, man. SJ, this gal here. Chanel, they're all good. But they're going to tell you flat out what it's really like to be with your twin flame. You could be doing romantic looking things with your twin flame, sure. But what's going on between you two? Because it's not like butterflies and intense romance and all of that stuff. Oh yeah, the eyes. If you guys are twin flames, your eyes look the same. Not the color, but like the shape of the bone, like the facial structure around your eyes, okay? You could like go in Photoshop or Microsoft Paint or something like that and cut out a chunk around your eyes and then do the same thing with a picture of your twin flame and stack them. You'll see it. It's uncanny, guys. The only exception is about half of interracial twin flame pairs. You cannot see it. But half of them you can. You still can. One of my early students, let's see if I can find it. It was, oh my God. She was one of my students, and her twin flame got married in Morocco. Yeah, there it is. Okay, hold on. Share screen. Window, there it is. Oh my goodness. You guys, okay, so she's from, California or whatever. Is it working? Hold on. There we go. She's from California or whatever, right? United States. And he's from Morocco. So she was my student. She's the feminine. He's the masculine, right? And yeah, their profiles. Dude, the nose even is the same. Everything is the same. That's fucking crazy. But yeah, about half of interracial twin flame pairs you cannot tell. So you got to rely on all the other signs. Well, anyway, Shagun, step 2, once again, step 2 is stop chasing them. Stop energetically chasing them. And again, you don't need to. You don't need to. And what you're going to get when you get to the end is just peace. It's great. It's fine. It's not boring. Boring is an emotion, but there's no like hot and heavy, passionate romance. Sex is fine, right? Your junk still works. Okay. Some people get confused about that, but it's not an emotional connection. It's not. There's no emotion. And you don't feel emptiness. That's an emotion. Emptiness, people call it emptiness. Yeah, that's like a negative emotion. It's not that. It's peace. It's Zen. That's what it's like to be with your twin flame. So the pining for them and the chasing them and the worrying about them and the thinking about them and the trying to figure out what to do, it doesn't even work that way. It doesn't even work that way. If you want that stuff, go get a soulmate. You got to stop focusing on them. Stop chasing them. Stop talking to them. Stop talking about them. Take all of their stuff and put it in a box. Any physical thing that reminds you of them. Stop watching twin flame content. You got to do a really super strict detox. And that's the first thing in my paid coaching, by the way. Is the detox, right? My paid coaching program, I put your ass right to work, dude. Because if you feel like shit and you want to shut that down right away, that's the first thing you got to do. You got to shut that down. Shut down the obsessive thinking and the desperation and all that shit. Yeah, do a detox. And somebody's asking in the chat, am I allowed to pray for him? Well, you're allowed to do whatever you want, but I wouldn't. Because, guys, there's no him. I've been up here telling you that for like 2 hours now. There's no him. I literally just got through a big explanation about that, right? They are you. Your twin flame is you. You guys really are the same soul. You don't need to pray for him. If you're doing anything to get different results from the other person, anything, you're going the wrong way. That's the way of the mind. The mind says, I'm here, I don't like it, and I got to get there to the outcome because it's going to be better. And I like that. I don't like it, I do like it. It's not the way it should be. The future is the way it should be. The mind, duality, that's the way the mind works, right? The mind is duality. That's what this is all about, right? Let me get me out of the way. There we go. The mind is duality. That's what the yin and yang symbol represents. The soul is oneness. It's a monad. It's the source. Well, it's more like the source. Let's put it that way. It's not really the source, but it's a lot more like that. And again, this diagram is showing you that even in science, they have a similar naming convention. Everybody's talking about the same thing. We all realize that the world and the universe work this way. You guys, I even had a psychologist once tell me that the mind works on duality. A psychologist knows that, and he was an atheist too, by the way. So you don't need to pray for them. And in fact, doing anything to get your twin flame to come back at all is what makes them run, because of the push-pull, not because of psychology. It's the push-pull. It's this. It's the twin flame push-pull. It's energy, guys, that makes them run. Again, head over to my Twin Flame Science playlist. Where is it? Twin Flame Science. Head over there and watch this first video. Here we go. Hold on. Watch this first video called What Are Twin Flames? English or Spanish? Twin flame science. There's a video called What Are Twin Flames? So that's why your twin flame runs. Your twin flame runs because of energy. It's energy, guys. It's not psychology. So you got to stop doing all that stuff, doing chants for them, praying, clearing your energies, blah, blah, blah. You're doing all this stuff to get an outcome or a result with your twin flame. And you don't need to do that. And that's what makes them run. So that's step 2. Stop doing anything about your twin flame and detox. Stop talking to them. Stop talking about them. Right? So step 1, let go of the myths. Step 2, stop chasing. Step 3, align with your soul. And I'm going to give you a high level thing here about that, because I've got a webinar that I'm doing next Tuesday called How to Align with Your Soul. But it's basically the master's teachings, guys. It's not healing. Once again, Buddha, Jesus, one of, if not the most misunderstood spiritual teachers of all time. Post-enlightenment, you go back and reread the New Testament, you're going to go, oh, that's what he meant. He's talking about the same things Buddha was talking about. Or Eckhart Tolle, who is essentially the modern day Buddha, Alan Watts, Krishnamurti, Paramahansa Yogananda, Ram Dass, right? The big names in spiritualism, not no run-of-the-mill New Ager telling you to do healing and energy clearings. None of the masters who I just named are ever going to tell you to do that stuff. And actually, they're going to tell you you're wasting your time. You're not your mind. You're not your mind. Read this book. This is the best beginner's book for you to start with. The Power of Now. It's available in every language from the modern day Buddha, Eckhart Tolle. The Power of Now. First thing he's going to tell you, chapter 1, you are not your mind. You're not going to heal your way into self-realization. It doesn't work that way. And that's not my opinion. That's what the Buddha is going to tell you. You think you're more spiritual than Buddha or Eckhart Tolle or Paramahansa Yogananda? I don't think so. Well, I disagree. I'm a New Ager and I think that's wrong. Cool. Go tell that to Eckhart Tolle. He's going to tell you that you're wasting your time, and he's going to tell you that you're wrong. He will. He will. Healing is great. But you know what? Healing itself doesn't even work unless you remember that you are a spiritual being first. I even have a video on my playlist, one of my playlists here. Let me show you something. Let's see. Okay. There's a playlist called English or Spanish. It's called Manifest Your Dream Life. So let's see, Spanish. Here it is, Manifest Your Dream Life. And there's a video, English or Spanish. Here's Spanish. But also, this video, it's called How to Do Real Healing right here. How to Do Real Healing. There's the English one. Where is it? There it is, Spanish. Here it is, How to Do Real Healing. And I'm going to tell you, you have to remember that you are consciousness first. You are not your mind. And true enlightenment, true peace is found through this remembrance that you are already a spiritual being. And changing the mind, thinking different thoughts, feeling different emotions, right? Healing, psychology, that's good stuff. but it doesn't make you more consciousness. You're already consciousness. You just forgot. You think you are the mind. That's why this book is so essential. Again, also, I highly recommend that you watch the Samadhi movie right here. Again, I'll put the link for you in the chat box if you're watching the live stream. If you're watching a replay video, just look it up, Samadhi. But yeah, there's 4 parts. Make sure you watch part 1 first. Don't skip around, or else the rest of them, they won't make sense to you. But they're going to tell you flat out, you're not this mask or identity of self. You're something deeper than that. You are consciousness. And if you want to do healing, do it later, and it'll actually work. If you start with real spiritualism first, learning to meditate. That's another thing, slowing down, building spaciousness into your life. I even have a video for that. Let's go to my YouTube channel. Once again, English or Spanish, go to my YouTube channel. There's this playlist called The True Twin Flame Teachings. The True Twin Flame Teachings. And if you scroll down, there's a video called How to Meditate. How about that? You guys, I got so much free stuff on YouTube, and I'm basically giving away the farm right now. I literally just told you the 3-step process to get your twin flame to be with you. Where is it? Here we go. The True Twin Flame Teachings. And then there it is, How to Meditate. So go check that out. It's, I guess, easier said than done. I mean, my paid coaching is 60 hours long, but you can never make your twin flame the goal. You can never ask. That's the rule. Like, Kurt, I did everything and I did it right. Why aren't they coming back? Because you're asking. You can never ask. You got to make the only thing that you're doing your spiritual awakening, and that's all. This is the twin flame obsession line. You got to get out of this line and get into this line, the true spiritual journey. If you join my paid coaching, the Facebook group and the group coaching calls are called the True Spiritual Journey. And you cannot talk about your twin flame in there. And you don't need to. Now, there's another call group called Detox and Ascend where you can talk about your twin flame, but I am always encouraging you to not go to those calls. You can go to a couple at the beginning, just to check it out. You might have like a one-off question about your twin flame every once in a while, and you can get on one call. That's one thing. But yeah, you need to just only do the true spiritual journey, genuine spiritualism, and that's all. The first thing you need to understand about getting your twin flame to be with you is that there is no such thing as the twin flame journey. Nothing. There's no such thing as the twin flame journey, guys. This is your spiritual awakening, and you just need to treat it that way. And your twin flame, that whole thing, it'll work itself out naturally and organically, and I've helped thousands of people to do it. Nobody can tell me that it doesn't work. Somebody is asking about Kundalini. Yeah, let's talk about Kundalini. Where is it? Here it is. Okay, Speaky Dooman. Kurt, under yesterday's video, I wrote an experience I thought might have been Kundalini, but I'm a bit in doubt about it. Could you please read it and tell me what you think? Okay. Let me see if I can find your comment. There it is. I'm going to copy and paste your question into the chat stream. Boom. Okay, so I'm going to put this on the screen, but this is the comment that you left me on yesterday's video. And it did it in 5 parts. Okay, here we go. Part 1. Hey, Kurt, I recently experienced something where I'd love your expertise if that was actually Kundalini. I was restless at night and I couldn't sleep, and everything I now describe felt like it happened in just a few seconds. I closed my eyes for a moment and had like a random picture in mind. I can't remember exactly what I saw. Then I heard a voice say, "Now I understand what they mean by saying we're one with everything. That's because we are everything." And right after I heard these words, it's like a camera zoomed out, or as if I was catapulted away from Earth, because within like 1 second, I saw it all, and then the planet itself. While that happened, I heard an electric charge and heard an explosion in my head as I was suddenly hit by a very bright white light. It literally felt as if my energy shot from my lower body into my mind and made it explode. And when I opened my eyes again, my whole body was tingling, and I still had that weird feeling linger in my body. Well, I'll tell you what, my friend. What you experience wasn't nothing. It was something. I'm going to read the introduction from The Power of Now for you. This is Eckhart Tolle. He said, "The origins of this book. I have little use for the past and I rarely think about it. However, I would briefly like to tell you how I came to be a spiritual teacher and how this book came into existence. Until my 30th year, I lived in a state of almost continuous anxiety, interspersed with periods of suicidal depression. It feels now as if I'm talking about some past lifetime or somebody else's life. One night, not long after my 29th birthday, I woke up in the early hours with a feeling of absolute dread. I had woken up with such a feeling many times before, but this time it was more intense than it had ever been. In the silence of the night, the vague outlines of the furniture in the dark room, the distant noise of a passing train, everything felt so alien, so hostile, and so utterly meaningless that it created in me a deep loathing of the world. Dark night of the soul? The most loathsome thing of all, however, was my own existence. What was the point in continuing to live with this burden of misery? Why carry on with this continuous struggle? I could feel that a deep longing for annihilation, for non-existence, was now becoming much stronger than the instinctive desire to continue to live. I cannot live with myself any longer. This was the thought that kept repeating in my mind. Then suddenly I became aware of what a peculiar thought it was. Am I one or two? If I cannot live with myself, there must be two of me, the I and the self that I cannot live with. Maybe, I thought, only one of them is real. Okay, this is where it gets good. This is where it pertains to your question. I was so stunned by this strange realization that my mind stopped. I was fully conscious, but there were no more thoughts. Then I felt drawn into what seemed like a vortex of energy. It was a slow movement at first and then accelerated. I was gripped by an intense fear and my body started to shake. I heard the words "resist nothing" as if spoken inside my chest. What am I always telling you guys? Intuition. I'm going to sneeze. Okay. I could feel myself being sucked into a void. It felt as if the void was inside myself rather than outside. Kundalini. Um, Suddenly, there was no more fear, and I let myself fall into that void. I have no recollection of what happened after that. The next morning, I was awakened by the chirping of a bird outside the window. I had never heard such a sound before. My eyes were still closed, and I saw the image of a precious diamond. Yes, if a diamond could make a sound, this is what it would be like. I opened my eyes. The first light of dawn was filtering through the curtains. Without any thought, I felt I knew. A knowing? I knew that there is infinitely more light than we realize, that soft luminosity filtering through the curtains was love itself. Tears came into my eyes. I got up and walked around the room, so now he's experiencing Satori. And yet I knew that I had never truly seen it before. I walked around the room, but I knew I had never truly seen it before. Everything was fresh and pristine, as if it had just come into existence. I picked up things, a pencil, an empty bottle, marveling at the beauty and aliveness of it all. That day, I walked around the city in utter amazement at the miracle of life on earth, as if I had just been born into this world. For the next 5 months, I lived in a state of uninterrupted deep peace and bliss. So he had a 5-month-long Satori. I would love that. I've had it for 3 days. 3 solid days. Yeah. And then it started to kind of taper off, right? Which I think he says that next. Yeah. He says, after that, it diminished somewhat in intensity, or perhaps it just seemed to because it became my natural state. I could still function in the world, although I realized that nothing I ever did could possibly add anything to what I already had. Now, the reason I'm sharing this with you, sir, is it sounds strikingly similar to some of the things that you experienced. You definitely experienced something. What you're describing in many of your or in your original comment, it sounds like you were given some kind of a psychic vision. You felt the information in your body. It's this weird, eerie knowing, isn't it? And just like with Eckhart Tolle, he felt the knowing of voice coming from his chest. That's actually not a bad way to describe intuition. He said, I felt this voice speaking to me saying, resist nothing. And it came from my chest. Right. Right. Intuition. And you're describing some of that stuff. You felt a surge of energy traveling through your body. Let me read this again. Just a few seconds. Then I heard a voice say, now I understand what they mean by saying we're one with everything. That's because we are everything. Yeah. And it probably came from here, didn't it? Maybe you heard a voice. I don't know. You let me know if you heard it in your head. If you heard like sound, I would love to know about that. If you heard a sound in your third eye, that's telepathy, but it could be that too. And right after I heard these words, it's like a camera zoomed out, or as if I was catapulted away from Earth, because within like 1 second, I saw it all and then the planet itself. It's entirely possible. Um, what happened when I heard an electric charge and I heard an explosion in my head? It suddenly had a very bright light. It literally felt as if energy shot from my lower body into my mind and made it explode. Yeah, you could describe Kundalini that way. That's one way to describe it. The way I describe Kundalini is, you think of your spine like a water pipe, and the water is like shooting up the pipe. That's the way Kundalini feels. And oftentimes you also feel like this force, like pulling at you, like pulling you up into the sky. You feel it like that. That's Kundalini. Let's see. Follow-up comment. The explosion sounded very real, as if it came from my body. The voice itself was mine, probably. I don't know. It happened so very fast. I don't know, man. I don't know. Whatever you experienced, it's not nothing. Yeah, I would have to talk to you to get more information. That's interesting. I've done, you guys know I've done twin flame tests for people. I did about 40 something, 40. How many did I do? Let me look. I did 53. Wow, I did 53. I also did a few on my group coaching calls, but 53 in a paid capacity. And some people got told no. Some people got told maybe. Most people got told yes. I had one person who was telling me some experiences she was having with this man she had met. And, she kind of said, well, I don't know, twin flame, maybe that's what it is. Right. And so she booked an appointment with me, and I ended up telling her, I think that's actually extraterrestrial. Not her boyfriend, because he wasn't running. He was actually like all about her and wanted to be with her and was like being super sweet and like a perfect like soulmate couple. No running and chasing, no Kundalini. But you know what she was having? Both her and him levitating, physically levitating, like her physical body levitating above the bed. And she was like looking over and like, oh my God, I'm floating. And I told her that's extraterrestrial. That's not spiritual. I mean, maybe some people might beg to differ with me on that. There could be, I've heard of like possessions and stuff like that. So maybe it's somewhat spiritual, but let me put it this way. It's typically extraterrestrial. And then, I mean, she went so quiet when I told her that. And I go, like, there was like an uncomfortable silence. And I go, I mean, I know that's a shock to you. And she goes, no. She goes, my boyfriend said that there were beings who appeared in his bedroom one night and communicated with him. And I'm like, well, there you go. Right? So I don't know. Speaky Dooman. Some of the things that you're describing sound spiritual, and some of them sound maybe not so much, maybe something else. And I'm not saying extraterrestrial. I'm not. It could be, I don't know, your spirit guides. I don't know, dude. That's quite a story. That's quite an experience. And it happened very fast. You're saying it happened very fast. Extraterrestrials can make you experience spiritual type things, though. It is possible for them to stimulate your metaphysical body, your astral body, right? Like if you look at this, right? Look at each individual person in this picture. There's all of these components, right? So the black outline of the figure is obviously your physical body, but then there's also these colored dots, right? Those are chakras. And then there's your metaphysical energy, these rainbow colors hovering around the body. So your body, mind, soul, right? Well, again, what is the mind? Well, it's thoughts and emotions and energy, but it's also infrastructure like chakras and then energy that emanates from you. So maybe a better word for that whole system would be astral body. It's metaphysical, meta as in mind. And they can, extraterrestrials, they can do things with that. Follow-up comment. He said, the thing is, I know what happened to me, but I'm so in disbelief because I never experienced anything like it. And I don't even know if I'm doing the right things now. I'm a very doubtful person. Well, I'll tell you what, dude. Reading The Power of Now, watching the Samadhi movie, and daily meditations, it doesn't matter who you are in the whole world. You can't go wrong. That's the one thing, a Zen way of life. That's the one thing that benefits everybody, no matter who you are. All right, last question for the day, and then I got to head out. I don't know how to pronounce your name. I apologize. But they said, Kurt, I healed, the ego dissolved, the soul takes over occasionally, momentarily, but I feel like I can't act from the mind anymore when soul is not in control. It's not always there. What do? I feel stuck. Right. So your mind is trying to become spiritual. You probably thought that healing would assist you in making you spiritual, and it does not. Spiritual can assist you in healing. So most people, they get it backwards. So that's the first thing. Also, the mind has this perception that it can become spiritual. So remember, body, mind, soul. The body, we know what that is. The mind, thoughts, emotions, metaphysical energy. Also, the retained thought and emotional imprints that constitute a sense of self. If you think about the first day you were born, a newborn baby, it's a soul that just incarnated, brand new baby, just incarnated, right? Okay. Well, what's going on inside the baby? Is the baby thinking about who it is? No, nothing of the sort is happening. The only thing inside the baby is awareness, consciousness. That's all. And all of the great spiritual masters, Buddha, Jesus, Paramahansa Yogananda, Krishnamurti, Alan Watts, Eckhart Tolle, Ram Dass, Ramana Maharshi, right? The masters, the big names, they're going to tell you that healing your mind won't make you spiritual. Ever. It'll never make you consciousness. You were consciousness first. On day one, a newborn baby, there's only consciousness inside the baby because that's what the soul is. The thinking about who you are, the ego, the mask of self, the collection of retained thought and emotional imprints, that started later. That hardens into whatever it's going to be around the age of 7 or 8. Even a psychologist will tell you that, right? The roles that you play in life. I'm a mom, I'm a brother, I'm a doctor, I'm a lawyer, I'm a teacher, I'm a truck driver, whatever, right? I'm the kind of person that acts this way in these situations. I like these things. I don't like those things, whatever, right? thoughts, concepts, emotions of self. But that's not who you are. It's an identity. It's a mask that we wear. Who you really are is the consciousness which was there on day one. And you don't uncover it by doing healing. You just cut right to the chase. You can experience yourself as consciousness today when you meditate. And it's an experience. You experience consciousness. You don't think your way there. Alan Watts, there's such a great quote from Alan Watts. I love this guy. One of the great spiritual masters. He said, a person does not experience God by thinking about God while they're peeling a potato. You're sitting there peeling a potato thinking about God. Well, you don't know God by doing it like that. The person simply peels the potato. Being, looking away from thought. That's essentially meditation. And again, I'll even reference this for you guys, for everybody. Once again, if you go to my playlist called The True Twin Flame Teachings, English or Spanish, there's a video called How to Meditate. How to Meditate. English or Spanish. You see that? How to Meditate. I've got my Spanish playlist here. How to meditate. And I explain the basics of meditation. You're either looking at your thoughts or you're listening or feeling, right? Your five senses. You're just listening without any mental narrative. It's only consciousness. You're just there, just existing, being. That's all. And the mind goes, well, what do I do next? That's all. That's it. You're living in the present moment. The mind is all about past, future, which is exactly what your question is. You're saying, I feel stuck. No, you don't. That's an emotion. That's not who you are. You're not that which feels stuck. You're not this identity, this self-concept that we just talked about, this clump of retained thought and emotional imprints. You are what is aware of the mind. And the mind, again, it wants to become spiritual. So notice how in your original question, you even said the soul takes over occasionally. But I feel like I can't act from the mind anymore when the soul is not in control. Let me restate that. I have my students do this. Watch this. I'll show you a little trick. You replace all the pronouns with the mind. Replace all the pronouns with the mind. Okay. The soul takes over occasionally, but the mind feels like it cannot act from the mind anymore when soul is not in control. It's not always there. What does the mind do? The mind feels stuck, right? The mind is trying to figure all this out. It's trying to become something. And the mind believes that the soul is a state that can be achieved. That's why Eckhart Tolle's book is called The Power of Now. Again, English, Spanish, Arabic, I don't care. This language, this book is available in every language. This is the best beginner's book for everybody watching. You want to get your twin flame back? The Power of Now. Eckhart Tolle. Well, why is it called The Power of Now? Because the mind is past, future. The mind is duality, time, right? Remember the yin and yang symbol. The yin and yang symbol. The mind works on duality. Spiritualism is the one. It's oneness. It's a monad. In spiritualism, the yin and yang symbol represents that duality of mind. Well, anyway, duality is past, future, right? So the mind is concerned with, I don't feel good right now. I have to become spiritual. I need to accomplish this state. The mind is a state that you accomplished when you were 7 years old. It's called the personality. But on day one, the newborn baby, there's no state. It's just existing in this moment. Ram Dass, another one of the great spiritual masters, his book is called Be Here Now. Remember that you are consciousness. And you don't remember mentally. It's not like a memory. It's an experience of being, listening, existing. Again, go watch my video called How to Meditate. So Ram Dass, there was a documentary film about him called Becoming Nobody. And that was exactly what he did, right? He unbecame the thinking mind. This is Ram Dass. I think he was from California. But that was the whole object of that documentary film, to release identification. Again, the mind is an identity. The soul or consciousness is formless. It has no form. It's just I. It's just existing, and that's all. And the mind, it says, well, what do I do? How do I accomplish that? That's not you who is asking. That's like the answer to your question. How do I do that, Kurt? Right? The answer to that question is, you are not that which is asking the question. You are not what is seeking. You exist only in the timeless moment of now. The power of now. Be here now. Existing, only existing. You switch roles. You believe you are the mind, but actually you are the consciousness. You are the awareness. And the awareness can also be aware of the mind. So do that. And don't listen to it. Don't believe it. It's seeking. You have this emotion of feeling stuck or whatever. That's not you. Notice that it's there, and that's all. That's all that you have to do. And yes, it works. Otherwise, the masters, well, they wouldn't be the great spiritual masters, would they? Follow-up question. So I should not act from the mind and live in the moment and just wait for the soul to take over. No. The soul already is taking over. It took over when you were born on day one. The soul was there first. And you're not going to achieve a state. Once again, it's not you who is trying to become spiritual. You're expecting there to be some shift or some kind of a state. And yes, at the beginning of a spontaneous spiritual awakening, there are those types of peak spiritual experiences. Yes, but they diminish with time. And you're left feeling definitely changed. Before enlightenment, chop wood, carry water. After enlightenment, chop wood, carry water. Well, what changed? You no longer believe that you are that which suffers. When you believe you are that which suffers, when you believe you are the mind, you're down in it. You're down here feeling the emotion. Oh, I am sad. I am mad. Or I am trying to wait for the soul to take over. The mind is waiting for the soul to take over. The soul notices that the mind is doing that. And you can do that right now. Right now. The soul doesn't take over. The mind took over. The mind took over when you were 7 years old. And you don't become anything. You are unbecoming the mind. You're noticing how the mind wants a future outcome. Remember, we just talked about that. The mind is duality, past, future. The soul is now. So you see this thing that wants to become spiritual. So instead of being down here in the emotion, you're now looking upon it, noticing it with curiosity. And you're not thinking or feeling anything about it. That stuck feeling or that urgency that the mind feels like it needs to become spiritual. The mind wants to become something. And you can start being spiritual right now by noticing that you are not that which wants to become spiritual, or it's waiting for some state, which again, those states, they only happen at the beginning of your awakening. They're called peak spiritual experiences, kundalini, non-dual merging with the universe, right? That experience of oneness, right? Out-of-body experiences. Now, the intuition stays with you forever and ever. That's awesome. But that feeling of oneness or Zen, like you feel like super peaceful, right? And actually, you can induce those later. I do it every day when I meditate. But those come and go. What's left is you no longer are down here suffering in the mud and the muck of the emotion. You're like, oh, look, there is an emotion, and I am not that. That's all it is. Right. Another thing that could be going on, by the way, so let me read the rest of your statement. You said, I feel too passive and like I need to act a bit sometimes. When spirit takes over, I do act. I don't know. Maybe what you're talking about is you feel good and you think that's spirit taking over. Spirit takes over and I feel good. Yeah. Now I feel bad. I'm not being spiritual now, right? That's called spiritual bypassing. Before enlightenment, chop wood, carry water. After enlightenment, chop wood, carry water. That's the truth. You could be having a negative emotion like sadness, and you are still an enlightened master. You just don't identify with the emotion, and you've let go of these kind of new age beliefs about what spiritualism is, right? I feel good, so that means spirit took over. That means it's my soul. No, the soul is neither good nor bad. It's not boring. It, you could say, is stillness. It's formless. It's an essence. Okay, well, you don't feel anything when soul takes over. I just do certain acts and later realize what I did. Yeah, I don't know. You're doing too much, my friend. You're doing too much. And once again, I just spent like 10 minutes explaining this. Soul is not taking over. Your soul does not take over. The mind recedes. This is important. Soul does not take over. That's not a thing. It's not a thing. Your mind is really in control here. Your mind is trying really damn hard to become spiritual, and that's all you need to know. That's all you need to know. Read this book, my friend. You can never become spiritual, and you are not that which is trying to become spiritual. You can unbecome the mind, like Ram Dass, becoming nobody. And it's not a state that you accomplish. It's what you already are. The mind is covering it up. And you can escape this thing that's covering it up right now in an instant. You don't need to work your way there. You don't accomplish it. You just start being present right now. Good or bad. Think of your emotions and all these thoughts and everything that's trying to become spiritual. Think of it like one of those wooden Russian dolls. I'm serious. You know, you open it and there's another doll. And then you open that one and there's another doll. And then you open that one and there's another doll. And then you open that one and there's another doll. And that doll is the center doll. It's solid and there's no more dolls inside of it. That's the soul. The first layer that goes around that is emotion. Then the next layer is some thoughts. And then the next layer is thinking about the emotions and thinking. And then the last layer is thinking about emotions and thinking. So the mind can do that. The mind can think about thinking. It can think about emotions. It can feel emotions about emotions. And it can feel and think things about the outside world. But none of it is you, and it never was. It's all an illusion. And all you have to do is stop believing all of that. You're not that which is seeking. You're not that which is trying to become here. You don't need to uncover those layers or escape from them. When you realize you are the center doll, you realize that you are something beyond all of those layers. You are the whole universe. And it's just a quiet presence. It's not this big, like, wow thing. And you're not believing that you're any of these layers that are vibrating around you. You're not listening to them. You know that you're not the urge to become all of these emotions, this urge, like, I got to do it. I got to become the thing. I need to feel better. I need to feel peace right now. I'm feeling bad, right? So you do. You're existing with the emotion. That's my analogy about the Russian doll, right? There could be negative emotions and thoughts going on around you, but you're okay with that. You look at the thoughts and emotions around you and you say, that just is. It just is. And you're not bypassing them. You're not calling yourself a failure for having them. It's just an emotion. It's like the weather. It just is. And you sit with it and you allow the emotion. You don't take a nosedive into it and you don't push it away. You just take your hands off the steering wheel and allow it to just be. But who is the you? Consciousness, the awareness of the emotion. That's who you are. Formless and eternal. I hope that helps. Thank you for your question. Guys, I got one more thing I wanted to talk about. An interesting phenomenon that happens to about 9 in 10 people that have this awakening. This is actually one of the questions that I started asking on my twin flame tests. You're welcome. You're welcome. I hope that helped. Here's what happened to me. I was working at my corporate job. I worked at a bank. I was a loan assistant. I had to work. I was given lots of work to do. I was even training other employees because I was good at it. That always happens. I get a job, I get good at it, and they tell me you should train everybody else. I guess I'm good at that. So that was my job. And then I was offered a promotion to be a credit analyst. And a college degree is required, but they gave me an exception. They said, you'd be good. We can train you to do it. Because I don't have a college degree, right? I took one college class, aced it, and then I left. I didn't want to be in college. I was so tired of school. Anyway, I mean, this is a golden opportunity. They've never done this for anybody else ever. And they just handed it to me. Kurt, you'd be really good. We'll train you. I was flattered and excited. It was a big pay increase. Now, the manager was busy, and I think she was kind of a narcissist. But they didn't want to take the time to train me really. And I didn't even like have a different desk or anything. I was in my same desk where I was before. It was a beautiful view. I was on the 30th floor working in downtown Denver, and my desk faced the window. So there was the Denver skyline and the Rocky Mountains there and the smog some days, right? But nobody was giving me anything to do. And then I started my dark night of the soul. Okay, Dark Night of the Soul is so horrible, you guys, that I don't have to remind you, but yeah, you can't function. You can't do anything. You can't think, you can't eat, you can't sleep. It took everything I had to just get out of bed, take a shower, and go to work. I wasn't eating very much. The obsessive thinking. Um, it's like the most desperate situation you've ever been in your whole life. And you can't function. It's fucking so weird. I've never experienced anything like it before or since. Now, can you imagine what would have happened if I would have gotten fired on top of what I was already going through? I don't even want to contemplate. Because here's the thing, I couldn't function. I could not do my job. Like, to sit there and focus on all that work that I had to do in my previous position. Can you imagine? I would have gotten fired or something. It would not have been good. So already going through the dark night of the soul and then losing the only income you have and losing your house, and I think that would have pushed me over the edge. That's all I'm going to say about that. You can interpret that how you want. I don't think I would have, of course the camera freezes right there. But I don't think I would have done that, but I don't know, something would have had something really, I don't know, just, I don't even want to think about what it would have. Anyway, none of that happened. It's as if, because get this, right after the dark night of the soul ended, they put me right back into my old job position. Because during Dark Night of the Soul, when I was a credit analyst, nobody was giving me any work to do. Nobody was monitoring me. Nobody was watching me. Nothing. My boss was MIA, missing in action. I just showed up and just fucking looked at old emails all day and fucked around, and I took really long lunch breaks and, so it's like, and then again, right after the Dark Night of the Soul, I was put back into my old job and I had to do actual work again. The timing, it's like this whole situation was set up for me to be able to get through the dark night of the soul and have that experience. It's like the universe was like, okay, let's get him ready. Right? And then as soon as it was done, it was all right, off you go, have your awakening. And get this, I started talking to people about that a couple of years ago, and I've taken surveys. Over 90% of the people on this journey have had that very thing happen. Some kind of change to their job or financial situation that enabled them to be okay during the dark night of the soul. And then the majority of those people went back to their old job role or had to work again or something after dark night of the soul. So there's that timing. 90%, guys. That's astronomically high odds. That's not an accident. Guys, I'm telling you, we can extract empirical data about not only twin flames, but also all the things that you could be experiencing. All of the things using the scientific method. Here, where is it? Wait, what? Isn't it open? Hold on. There it is. Okay, I want to make sure to do the Spanish one too. Maybe. It's going to do it. It's going to do it. Oh, I'm frozen. Hold on. Okay. Yeah. What's up with StreamYard here? Remove that. Okay. There we go. There's so much that we can extract. And guys, this all follows the scientific method. When you have a duplicatable, repeatable process that happens to this many people, thousands of people that I've worked with, that's something. That's something. And it's always the same indicators. It's always the same. You can describe it and you can have thousands of people that the exact same thing is happening to. That's a science experiment, guys. It's repeatable. You get the same thing every time. That's the scientific method too. So that's why I'm telling you guys all the time, this is real and you can prove it. You can prove it. That's why the name of my book is going to be called Proving Reincarnation, the true scientific story of the so-called twin flame phenomenon. Amen to that. Well, guys, I've had a lot of fun with you today. I got to go. Next Tuesday is a webinar. Look out for information about that. You should start seeing sign up forms for that starting tomorrow. That's what I got to go work on that here. But yeah, I had a cool time with you guys today. And hope you guys have a great week. You can join me for the webinar, and then the following Tuesday, we'll be back to the regular live Q&A sessions. You guys. All right. I'm off. I'll see you then. Later.